What's a shirt, you're asking? Because you're an alien. Well, I'll tell you. If you go to wehaveconcerns.com/shop, you will get 2 examples of human clothing that you can purchase and wear and bring back to your home planet to study.
Or just blend in with the humans here. They'll never know the difference if you're wearing one of their human shirts.
Yeah, if you're an arachnoid from planet Rillion 7, no one will know if you put a t-shirt over 2 of your 8 legs. wehaveconcerns.com/shop. Really just feels like an extra deadline on my to-do list. That's romantic. It's romantic to say
They always
that,
say
right?
happiest deadline of your life. That's what they say.
This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Oh, man. Do you love that cheese?
I do love cheese.
Everybody loves cheese.
I can't really have cheese anymore because of my heart.
Oh, your heart hates cheese.
It's cholesterol. I'm supposed to try to cut out as much dairy as possible.
Well, what if I told you there's a way to have cheese without it ever coming from a cow?
Like goat cheese?
Okay, so other than goat cheese. Like it came from no animal. It came from no animal.
Like that weird vegan cheese, like Daiya cheese?
That's
basically, I think it's melted plastic. What do you think Daiya cheese is made out of? Have you ever
never
had that
heard of Daiya cheese.
Daiya cheese is the vegan cheese they put on stuff. Have you ever had like a vegan cheese or like vegan cheese pizza or anything like that?
No, because I'm an American.
Okay, but like, so you've never even accidentally had or
It's
were at a
possible
place.
I will eat anything that looks or smells even close to cheese.
It doesn't look and smell super close to cheese.
Then I've never had it.
It's a little viscous.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's got like a weird texture to it. It's one of those things where if you've been vegetarian or vegan long enough, you can maybe convince yourself that it's what cheese was like. But it's definitely not.
Remember. This seems
This
close.
is kind of like what cheese was
I
like.
don't remember it being like this.
It's like when vegetarians talk about we'll always talk about Morningstar Farms. We'll talk about like corn dogs and chicken nuggets from Morningstar Farms. And we're like, oh, but they're so good. And they're so close to chicken. They fucking are not. and you realize that when you hand it to someone. Like if I was to give you a vegetarian chicken nugget, you would eat and be like, this is mush garbage.
You're like, but it's so similar to what?
But it vaguely reminds me of a chicken.
Remember what bacon was like? This tofu bacon is almost identical.
There's nothing more disgusting than vegetarian bacon. Anybody who's eating vegetarian bacon is just like lying to themselves.
Well, here's another way to lie to yourself. This was a story sent to us by Diana. She sent it to wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com. And this is a story in Wired Magazine. Actually, it's interesting to me how many stories now we get that start the same way. That start with a group of biohackers.
Yeah. ...
How crazy is that we live in a world where a group of biohackers can do shit?
Dude, I love it. I want biohacker to be a legitimate career choice when you're like checking things off on like a
You want a counselor?
Scantron? Yeah.
Your counselor in high school is like, I highly recommend you get into the lucrative field of biohacking.
It says here, Jimmy, that you are most suited for biohacking, cyber cowboy, pizza delivery guy that also holds a secret to the world, and and head of a shadowy media conglomerate that controls everyone's opinions about everything.
All my cosplaying to school has paid off in such a great way.
Yeah. And I gotta say, it's a good thing you took this career test because before you did, we were gonna have you arrested because your cosplay was freaking us out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I know. You looked like you were gonna go a little like maybe yeah.
Sure, but I'll be laughing last when I'm biohacking you from my biohacker's lair.
Are you biohacking me right now?
I'm biohacking you with my eyes.
No. What are you doing to me?
Biohacking the shit out of you.
No.
That's the craziest thing is that this, it used to cost billions to map the human genome.
Yeah.
Now it costs thousands. You can do mail order DNA requests.
So cool.
It's crazy. It says you can order snippets of custom DNA with letter-by-letter precision by simply filling out an online form that costs less than 25 cents per pair of DNA.
Yeah, we had the guys who were making the glowing plant on D-News, and one of the things that they made that glowing plant Kickstarter. The end game was not really a glowing plant. The end game was really to
biohack their high school counselors.
Yeah,
brain
into giant
mush.
tree people. No, it was basically to raise awareness of what they're doing and fund their bigger, better things that they're doing, and which are secret and shadowy, and they would not tell me about. So that sounds great. Thanks for contributing to Kickstarter. You got a free T-shirt. But they were talking about the software that you can use to sequence a genome is open source.
Yeah.
You can go download it right now, and you can sequence a genome and order it. You can order a printed vial of DNA of whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what these guys are doing. These biohackers are doing that, and they're trying to create cheese. First, they need to make milk.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to make milk to ultimately create cheese that is true vegan in the sense that it never existed from an animal of any kind.
Now,
it's
but
purely
is it
synthetic.
But is it dairy?
Well, what they're saying is that it's going to be molecularly indistinguishable from actual cheese.
So
I'm guessing that it would still be problematic for people who are lactose intolerant.
yeah. So okay. So this is not for people who are lactose intolerant, but
It's for vegans who want to have it both ways. They don't want to hurt any animals and touch any animals, but they love that cheese.
but
Gotta have that cheese.
This is that slippery slope, though, right? Like, okay, so they're going to molecularly make milk, but aren't they taking that DNA from, or that molecular structure from milk that was taken from an ant? Like,
Well, they're just copying it.
yeah,
That's all they're doing. They're copying it.
Here's the line I'm trying to get at. Would you drink milk that was molecularly the same? It was just copied milk. You would drink that, right?
I think I would.
Yeah, I would too. Now, here's where we get into some other stuff. Lab-grown meat. If you were eating lab-grown, would you, as a vegan, or a vegetarian, would you eat lab-grown meat? I don't know if I would. That's a little weird. But it may just be that because I'm thinking of these steaks being grown in tubes in a lab. Like, I'm thinking of a Matrix-style endless row of tubes where they're growing just cow muscle.
And I always imagine them pulsating for some reason.
Yeah,
they're always pulsating.
Well, because they gotta exercise it so the meat's real lean, right?
Exactly. Can't have fatty fake meat that never was anything.
You want that well marbled meat, so they gotta electrically shock those tubes and cause those muscles to twitch. It
just like mom used to fabricate.
Well, that's sort of the line for me, right?
Here's exactly how they're doing it. So this may give you more insight. It says they take custom fabricated snippets of DNA, which is genetic material that contains the instructions for synthesizing milk's proteins, and then insert them into plain old baker's yeast. So they're just taking the molecular structure of milk, the proteins in milk, and inserting that into baker's yeast to create cheese. And they put the yeast into
milk?
Well, they put the yeast into a bioreactor, which is basically a fermenter.
Dude, let me tell you something. If you're vegan and you don't want to put your shit in a microwave, there's no way you're eating anything that comes from something called a bioreactor. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're trying to get the hippy-dippy vegan crowd, absolutely not.
Just take this Hot Pocket and put it to 30 to 60 seconds inside your home bioreactor. And it turns what used to be cardboard and shitty tasting into something that is slightly less cardboard and shitty tasting.
I had a question. I was putting my Hot Pockets into my bioreactor, and there seems to be I wouldn't call it a screaming. It's more like a wailing, like a lowing is what I would call it, like a sad, forlorn.
Completely normal.
Less pain and more a sadness and melancholy?
Oh, yeah. That means it's working.
Okay.
That's how you know it's getting close to eating time.
Now, should a Hot Pocket be making that noise?
Generally speaking, no. But the bioreactor releases a lot of pain into
inanimate objects.
Into inanimate objects.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not
normally inanimate objects, as you know.
Yeah.
Normally inanimate objects cannot feel pain.
Sure.
But
and that's why I had my question.
Well, no, it's a valid question.
Sure.
You clearly didn't read our FAQ.
No, I'm sorry.
It's really the top question is why all the screaming?
You know what it is I saw screaming and I was like, it's really more like a moaning. Like a lowing, and so I was like, I don't know that that's applicable to me.
You're just criticizing the writing of our FAQ.
I'm just saying you could go for a little more.
It's a semantic issue.
Also, I put some dolls into the reactor, and now they're hiding, except at night.
Oh, they're gonna come out at night.
Okay, I thought so.
You're gonna want to protect yourself.
Yeah, they're going to kill me.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, but I'll tell you what.
There's a disclaimer on the back of the bioreactor, by the way.
Now, see, I was going to read that.
You should have. These guys are they've managed to splice 10 of the 11 DNA snippets into the yeast that they need. So that pesky 11th.
What is
snippet.
the 11th one? I don't understand.
The 11th one is love.
That's the one they cannot teach. The yeast
out.
keeps rejecting love. You know what it is I think it's the yeast doesn't feel worthy. Are they talking in a soft voice to the yeast and letting the yeast know that it's worthy of becoming milk?
I got to admit, biohackers aren't usually known for their bedside manner, so I would assume their soft, gentle voice isn't their strong
Stupid
suit.
yeast! Why won't you just res?
Just hack it! Hack it harder, Terry!
Tighten up the graphics on level 3. I need you to double the RAM. I'm trying. Double the RAM, I'm trying is from Hackers, by the way. That's a thing that happened.
Oh, you did
was double the RAM.
A full-on quote of a thing that
It was either
no one
double
has
the RAM or triple the RAM. What do you mean no one's seen Hackers?
I'm just saying, kids, ask your parents what Hackers
Oh,
is.
yeah. Valid.
So the goal is to create real vegan cheese. There are scientists that say this is a bad idea.
Sure.
This Rafael Jimenez Flores.
Baby scientists who are children sucking on their thumbs. He's afraid of the future.
This is a professor at Cal Poly's Dairy Products Technology Center.
A professor at Cal Poly's whiny baby center.
He said
idiots.
The problem is we don't know how milk works. So
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, he says that mothers expend a lot of metabolic energy to synthesize sugars in their milk that babies don't digest. And from an evolutionary standpoint, that doesn't make any sense. We don't know why this happens. And researchers are still working to understand the function of bacteria that are delivered to babies from their mother.
Sure. I mean, that's some microbiome stuff, and that's
right.
That's...
So he's saying that this level of complexity we can't recreate artificially. We can't
man,
figure it out.
Listen, you whiny jerk. Here's the deal. You don't need to give this milk to babies. Just don't give it to babies. If I want this milk, I can have it, and you can't stop me, you dork. You whiny dorkman. If I want to synthesize, I'll synthesize whatever the hell I want. We'll play God however we choose, jerk.
I don't want to know repercussions.
I don't want to hear anything about that. Oh, real milk has essential things that you need to keep you from dying. Shut the fuck up.
This fake milk is still white and looks the same.
Yeah.
So I don't understand your point.
I feel like this is how we got Daya cheese.
No, except it didn't look anything
It didn't
the
look
same.
You know what we have is we have the lactose-free milk in the fridge. The lactose-free milk is, dairy-free, but it just
How do they take the dairy out of milk?
They put it into a bioreactor, I think.
Yeah. I see.
But they remove the lactose because lactose is basically a sugar. It's a protein, right? So they get it out of there and they replace it with another sugar. And the problem is it's like in a lot of ways less healthy for you because it's a much more sugary sugar.
Right.
Like if I gave you a sip of this milk, you would think it tasted like magical candy milk. You would be like, holy shit, this is the milk that they drink in Candyland.
You know what? I think if they just called it magical candy milk, it would sell way better.
I think they should. So I can see where everybody's coming from because that's already a little less healthy.
Yeah.
But here's my thing about Whiny Babyman. My thing about Whiny Babyman is
That's
this.
Mr. Whiny Babyman.
Sorry, Dr. Whiny Babyman.
Dr.
He didn't
Mr.
go to
Whiny
he didn't go to 8 years of Whiny Baby school to be called Mr. Whiny Babyman.
Right.
Here's the deal. If it is molecularly the same, I understand why, the bacteria passing from the mother's microbiome to a child's is important. But if it is molecularly the same,
Right.
fuck right off. Because this sounds a little bit to me like people who are screaming about GMOs without fully understanding what GMOs are, right?
Well, the interesting point this article makes too is that this is officially not a GMO.
It's not.
There's no GMO in here.
It's molecularly the same.
Exactly.
They haven't changed milk.
Right.
It's actually, if you're afraid of GMOs, this is actually better than stuff that's on the shelf for you that says it's GMO.
That's actually very true. I think his point is that
He's a baby?
maybe it's not just the molecular substance. It's
I challenge
the
this guy to a
process.
slap fight. There, I said it. I'll slap fight this dick.
You haven't seen a picture of him. He's 320 and built like a shithouse.
Yeah, but I bet he cries like a baby when you swing at him. I'm afraid of milk from a lab. Get out of my life.
Here's the next step I need to ask you about,
All right.
Anthony. The next step.
I like how angry I am at this guy.
You hate this guy.
I didn't know that I felt this way about this until we started talking. But it's like, fuck you. It's the same. Don't spew this shit that isn't science. You're a doctor. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, I think it's a valid point to bring up to say maybe there is something in the process of delivery that is important, and we can't just remove that from the process.
That's a specific instance, a specific use. You're talking about a mother nursing a child,
right?
Okay, so yeah, I get that. But in day-to-day, like in everyday usage, fuck you, it's milk.
Well, we may find out if it's milk or not. That's the problem. We get that pesky 11th protein down.
Hey, look, man. Fuck you. It's milk. You can't tell me that this third eyeball growing out of my neck has anything to do with it. You can't tell me that my insatiable bloodlust has anything to do with my biomilk, and you can't take away my biomilk. I will not let you.
Here's the problem. Here's the next step.
I just bit the head off a squirrel.
Yeah, I know. You got to calm it down and get back inside your bioreactor. tiny doll replica.
I will not go back in the box.
Here's the next step.
Okay.
Very important that we get to this.
Mm-hmm.
Cow milk,
working
on that. Next step, we want to make it out of human DNA, the human milk.
No, I don't want human
cheese
milk. No.
Made out of humans, sort of human cheese. Are you ready for human cheese?
Now, you can make a cheese using the bacteria from your armpit.
You can?
Yeah, but you have to use like dairy culture.
Just have to not shower for about a week and a half.
No, they take a little bit out of it, and you can make a cheese out of your own sweat and stuff.
You can?
Yeah, there are people there are instructions on how to do it. We almost did it for D-News once, but it was going to take like a long time, and we just didn't have the time and and the environment to set it aside. But you can use your own bacteria to create cheese.
Some pit cheese.
Yeah, but it's not human cheese. It would be like cow's milk cheese, but you would use your bacteria as the cultures that turn it into cheese.
Well, this would be human milk cheese.
Yeah, this is real human milk cheese. I don't know if I want that.
I like that you're willing to consider it, though.
I'll consider it because there's nothing like, dude. If we're gonna have cow milk, if we're gonna have goat milk, human milk is no more or less gross. Really,
it should be way less gross. The idea that we're drinking the milk from another species should be really disturbing.
Should it?
I think it should.
We don't eat the meat from the same species.
Good point. That's
right?
A good point. but the idea of milk is that it's this.
Though
substance,
I'm open to that too.
It's this substance that we create for ourselves to nurture ourselves, right? It's the idea that we're convincing another species to create that for its offspring that it doesn't have, stealing it and taking it for ourselves should be weird and disturbing.
Yeah. It's all weird and disturbing. That's why I'm a vegetarian, Jeff.
So the idea about this, the reason that they even want to do...
The idea of eating weird animal shit is weird. That's why I don't do it, man.
All right, so I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
But the idea of the reason that they would even
look at that baby goat. That's a cute baby goat. Why don't we take something that it excretes from itself and drink it, and then like maybe also bite into its shoulder?
You know the reason for that, though.
Why?
It's delicious.
It's fucking delicious.
You can't argue with cheese flavor.
No, and that's why I'm saying, like, listen, man, if you want to make human cheese, if you want to make cow cheese, goat cheese, whatever cheese you want to make in a lab, I say go ahead and make the cheese.
But let me explain to you why, because this may interest you as someone who has a problem with dairy.
Okay.
Your heart has a problem with dairy. Human milk cheese could be for people that can't have dairy but are also allergic to the non-dairy equivalents.
Oh.
So it could be a way to get cheese to people who can't even have fake diet cheese.
Because you can't be allergic to you.
You can't be allergic to you.
I mean, you can be tired of you.
You can be so sick of you.
I've been so tired of myself for like...
You can hate you.
Going on 35 years?
But you can't be physically...
I think the moment of object permanence, is when I started getting tired of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, Jesus Christ, I'm always here.
You can get physically ill at the thought of you.
Sure.
But you can't be actually allergic to you.
Cannot be allergic to you. No, that's actually kind of cool. I like that.
Right?
So then it just becomes a mental emotional barrier. Like, am I as an adult okay with drinking human cheese that is indistinguishable from real human cheese or milk or whatever? Am I okay with that on a philosophical level? Does it weird me out? I think people who can't have dairy and are also allergic to lactose-free alternatives would kill for a single bite of human cheese.
Right?
I think they would
just be like, what have I been missing this whole time?
I think they're just like, hand it to me.
What if the future of self-sustaining is literally self-sustaining?
Just like making your own cheese out of you?
Grow meat based on your own meat.
Oh, no!
You just, everything you eat
no,
is
I
based
think that
on
would
your
lead
own
to
DNA.
a human mad cow disease if we ate our own meat.
But he completes the circle, man.
It completes the circle of fucking zombies is what it completes.
All you had to do is
You do not eat human flesh.
just put your own meat
Nope.
inside the bioreactor.
No.
Wrap it in the delicious bread.
It's just
You
a
listen
little-
to yourself scream for about 30 seconds to a minute.
If you put your own meat into the bioreactor and wrap it in a sourdough, and this is something they tell you in the manual, try not to do this because it will actually scream out how you will die.
Oh, really?
It will tell you when and where and the cause of your own death if you put your own meat into the bioreactor.
September 24th, car accident. Like really weird. I think my hot pocket's ready though.
It didn't give a year.
Does
that mean this
that's
year?
the disturbing part.
Does that mean this year? What does that mean? Put it on for another 30 seconds. Nah, it gets too chewy. But I have to know. Yeah, but I'm not going to ruin my lunch just so you know when you're going to die.
By the way, you taste delicious.
Yeah, I'm delicious.
Delicious. It's Steve.
Steve's back. It's all based on Steve meat.
We want to know if you guys would eat human milk
I'd do it.
or human cheese.
Or if you have a problem with molecular milk.
Yeah.
You have an issue with
molecular
that?
milk. That's what they should call it. That's
Yeah,
good. That's good
I'd order
marketing
the
right
shit out
there.
of some molecular milk. Let us know on Twitter. I'm at acarboni.
I'm at Jeff Kanata.
You can hashtag those
Bioreactor.
bioreactor. Hey, also, are you enjoying the show?
Oh, I hope you are.
If you are, we would love it if you would rate the show 5 stars on the platform of your choice, whether that's iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is you guys use. We're platform agnostic.
We really appreciate those 5-star reviews.
Yeah,
They really help.
But don't actually write a review.
Oh, no, that's just stupid.
No, nobody reads those reviews. What you should do is just list.
What kind of cheese would you like your DNA to make? I think as a couple of Italian guys, we would be mozzarella.
Oh, like a nice buffalo mozzarella, right out of me.
Amazing.
Phew.
Yeah,
you
like a
can,
burrata?
Oh,
They would call
God.
it Canada burrata.
A Canada burrata. What kind of cheese would you make out of you? Let us know in your review. And hey, tell a friend about the show. Do it.